to the 6th Annual Otterbein University Young Alumni Awards. Thank you, Opus One, for that beautiful kickoff to this special night. My name is Michaela Coleman, and I am a proud graduate of the Otterbein class of 2010. I can't tell you what an honor it is to be here this evening. I offer my congratulations to our awardees, and I carry the pride of all alumni who believe in the purpose and possibility of this special place. Tonight we celebrate 6 graduates who have already achieved great things in their young careers. They are the living examples of Otterbein's missions, values, and vision. As you listen to their bios tonight, I want to remind you that all of these awardees are age 40 or younger. What each of them has accomplished in the few years they've been away from their alma mater is a testament to their talents, their drive, and the preparation they had at Otterbein. This is why our theme celebrates this evening as a night of young alumni stars. I also want you to know, I know how these awardees are feeling right now. It is both humbling and exhilarating to be recognized by the people who taught you, challenged you, and helped you become who you are. I know I was honored to be named the recipient of the 2016 Celebration of Diversity Award. That's because for many of us, Otterbein is like family. I have always been a believer that it takes a village to raise a child. So I can say that in addition to my own family, every person at Otterbein, every mentor, every professor, every friend, and every classmate helped mold me and motivate me to get where I am now. To the awardees, I offer this advice. Take a moment to remember who you are now and where you were as a student. How did Otterbein prepare you to stand in this moment? I know when I think back, there was quite a difference between the 18-year-old woman I was when I was at Otterbein and the 28-year-old woman who stands before you right now. It is fascinating that a handful of accomplished and hardworking young professionals and students seek out my insight, mainly because I have so much more room to grow myself. Otterbein provided me with a foundation, one that I stand strongly on every day in taking on new challenges and setting new goals. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge some of our special guests tonight. We appreciate all these leaders and friends and the service they do at Otterbein. Audience members, let's hold our applause until I finish welcoming these great champions for Otterbein. First, it is my pleasure to welcome President Kathy Crendel. I would also like to extend a very warm welcome to some of the special guests here tonight, including current Emeritus Otterbein Board of Trustees members, President Crendel's cabinet and leadership team, along with many academic deans, as well as faculty and staff members. Thank you for your vision, service, and stewardship of this university. And thank you for inspiring some of the successes we celebrate tonight. Let's take a moment to applaud that commitment. Also, we would like to thank all current and past Alumni Council and Young Alumni Advisory Board members who are present tonight. Some of them helped select tonight's esteemed panel of awardees. To all of these volunteers, we say thank you for your everlasting cardinal pride and your service. Otterbein has given me so much, perhaps nothing as meaningful as a heart that has been called upon to serve. It started with one of my mentors, John Panglove, who is with us this evening. He was the first person to teach me about the importance of giving back. When I graduated, he gave me a book called Half the Sky, Turning Oppression into Opportunity for Women Worldwide. It details stories of women around the world who have been oppressed and how we can do something to change and make a meaningful change in their lives. Inscribing the book that he gave me just encouraged me to always remember to mentor, no matter what stage of my life that I'm in. John taught me that I should never forget to give back and that I should always make it a point to mentor others. Living this way would ensure that I was always thinking about helping to prepare the next generation. John Kangla, the book he gave me, and the lessons he taught me sparked part of my purpose. I think about those lessons constantly, and it inspires me to do something to help others every single day. Even still, I know that my hands aren't doing all they can. John Kangla changed my life. Otterbein changed my life. And that is what we celebrate tonight. The people and the place that have made so much possible. And speaking of those whose hands are busy, those who are doing as much as they can to help as many as they can, and speaking of those who live to serve and to prepare the next generation, it is my pleasure to introduce a leader and a woman who fits the description with dignity, grace, and commitment. Will you join me in welcoming Otterbein President and Champion for Opportunity, Dr. Kathy Crandall.
Well, thank you, Mickey. I always tell her that my husband and I thought we weren't allowed to have any events at Otterbein unless Mickey was there, because every place we went, she was always there, one of the most engaged students I ever saw. So thank you so much, and it's great to have you back here this evening. So good evening to everyone, and congratulations to our awardees, and welcome again to the 6th Annual Young Alumni Awards. It's true that a president should probably never admit to having favorite events, but I can say without reservation that tonight's celebration is one of my own very favorites and has been for 6 years now for all kinds of reasons in terms of the people we honor and the celebrations that we have celebrating our university. Tonight is an evening to take tremendous pride in these young professionals and all that they have been able to achieve in a short time, the short time that has passed since they left us a few years ago. These awards and all of the joy and accomplishment that they capture speak to one of Otterbein's truths. When you listen to the introductions and acceptance speeches, when you hear the pride, the personal anecdotes, you will quickly realize that tonight is about more than impressive individual success stories. Let me give you just one example. Christina Kirk writes of Jeremy Bobb that he is fiercely intelligent, dangerously bold, and uncompromisingly steadfast in his pursuit of artistic excellence. Embodying Otterbein's core values, Jeremy has never waited for his destiny to find him. He creates it. He is a role model for sustained achievement born out of courage and vision. Tonight is an evening to recognize what it means to be a member of this community and the nature of the relationships that are the rule rather than the exception here at Otterbein. It's why Bob Gaddy knew that Rayshawn Wilson would never shy away from hard work, or that he would spend most of his life working to change the cycle of poverty, race, and incarceration. It's why William Harper, professor of mathematical sciences, knows that Carrie Adams has proven to be a natural leader both in helping organizations reach their potential, but also in educating others. We honor the bonds and connections between mentors and promising student talent. These awards provide the opportunity to complete the circle of learning, respect, and scholarly collaboration. It all comes full circle. It's as if we were completing the O in Otterbein with the purposeful precision of a compass. And speaking of precision, I can't help but think about how fitting tonight's theme of rising stars happens to be. For years, we have looked to the stars to navigate our journeys and our choices, back to the very earliest days when slaves bravely sought freedom and safe passage along the Underground Railroad right here in Westerville and through our campus. The stars have proven to be most meaningful also in their wayfinding and in the stories and beliefs that have shaped our history, our legends, our mythology, when they have been identified in those constellations. Look around this room and you will notice that these promising young alumni stars are joined by those who helped to form their life's constellations, their families whose pride and joy are palpable, their spouses, partners, and friends who have helped to reflect their light, and their nominators, the teachers and mentors, who helped them better understand the nature of the brilliance that was shining within them. We can chart a path for Otterbein's future by our awardees. We can see that these young stars offer the kind of hope, excellence, and integrity that will guide others who aspire to follow them. This notion is found in nearly every nomination this evening, including Alan Prindle's nomination of Jay Shoemaker, when he notes that he's excited because Jay's personal and professional record is indeed a model for current and future Otterbein students. It's a fact that some stars stand out from all the rest. It's what is known as a star's luminosity, and it refers to how much energy a star puts out. It's the kind of energy that Otterbein Professor Emeritus Carol Sabbath describes when she says, Scott has created a testament to how one man, with joy in his heart, a hunger for challenge, and an intellect that ignites passion for improving the human condition, enables Otterbein's mission and core values to become a living reality. This is why this night shines so brightly. There's a lot of energy in this room. As individuals and as a group, our awardees represent tremendous work and passion, their own as well as all of the people who have invested in them over the years. It's what one of Nat Spicer's nominators expressed when she wrote, sometimes it's just in your DNA, and the college you pick nurtures and hones those leadership skills that you bring with you. That is Nate Spicer, a guy who got it early on and learned how to hone it here at Otterbein. That's luminosity, and every winner tonight shines brightly. I know you will enjoy this evening, and when you leave tonight's ceremony, I hope you will remember to come back and to give back, whether you mentor a student or you help build a new opportunity for someone. Your family and friends are proud of you. Your professors and your mentors are proud of you. Otterbein is proud of you. Congratulations, and thank you.
Good evening. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you all this evening. Stand before you to, in these next 3 minutes, give some remarks about a gentleman that I've come to know very well. And I struggled with fitting this introduction into 3 minutes. So in the next 3 minutes, we'll see how successful I can be. This award winner is a reminder that we are God's most loved invention. And when we are in line with his purpose, our consciousness becomes an extension of him, even though we're flesh and bone with minds of our own. But through that consciousness is revealed that learning from our upcomings and downfalls and finding our individual purpose is the reason we stay among God's favor. Despite not feeling favored when he didn't have what he needed by way of someone to raise, nurture, care for, be there for, help to prepare for times ahead. In his book, Lionheart, coming from where I'm from, our award winner immortalizes his story so that with each turn and the turn of each page, the life cycle of poverty, abandonment, loss, male bravado, adolescence, fatherlessness, teen pregnancy, the criminal justice system, crime, resilience, redemption, and triumph are revisited in order to bring awareness, create change, and inspire. I met this award winner in the fall of 1998 when he arrived at Otterbein, and we didn't connect immediately. But where we come from, there's a saying, and that saying says that game recognized game. And it didn't take long for us to acknowledge each other's resilience, street smarts, and unique circumstances that led us to college, even when our worth, ambition, and existence was challenged. From that moment on, we became brothers in a struggle. We could live off of what most discarded and could literally turn a dime into $1. On the hallowed bricks of Home Street, we became men, students, and servants. And in 2016, those 3 things haven't changed one bit. You see, those brick roads we traveled to and from class taught us a few lessons. They taught us that when someone or something is imperfect, flawed, or broken, you don't simply discard them. If you care to fix the problem, you begin with that one brick. You identify the barrier to its progress and you patch it, or you smooth out the rough spots. If it's weak, you strengthen it with supports, but you never ever remove it and throw it away. Because when you do, you create a void, and that void becomes a pitfall and barrier towards other success. Rayshawn Wilson's entire career has been spent serving, repairing, and restoring. He took his understanding and experience with the criminal justice system and served restored citizens as they attempted to regain and establish themselves while advocating for their rights. He's worked with chemically dependent men and women to support them as they battled addiction. He served as an adjunct professor of criminal justice and ensured that college students studying his passion do so with insight, critical thought, and an approach that prepares them to impact the field with awareness and, most important, dignity and respect. He's addressed fatherlessness, the fatherlessness he suffered from by creating and managing programs for the City of Columbus and the Columbus Urban League. And in those programs, he mediated gang violence, provided parenting classes for fathers, removed barriers to relationships between fathers, their children, and the mothers of their children, and even planned and provided regularly scheduled social events at no cost so that the fathers could develop bonds that otherwise may be non-existent. This award winner took the latest challenge with a bit of skepticism. I remember our conversation when he was deciding which path to pursue. He asked, do I go to the prison system or do I go to the school system? His unreadiness was due to not wanting to deviate from his individual path and operate within his skill set while providing maximum impact. The difference in the decision was literally the question of prevention or cure. His plan was to pray about it and allow his steps to be ordered, and he was eventually led to the role of Columbus City Schools, where he utilizes his total skill set every day to ensure that the environments that Columbus's most marginalized and challenged students don't feel like they're in prison when indeed they're in school. And if all of those things weren't enough, he recently began serving on the board of the SIMBA program, which translates into Young Lion with Franklin County Children's Services, to ensure children in the same system he made it out of are nurtured and cared for. In addition to that, he proudly serves our dear Otterbein as an adjunct professor. But more importantly, in this lifetime, he's Princess Jillian and Prince Baldwin's daddy. Those of you who affectionately know them may call them Pebbles and Bam Bam. He's an award-winning author, motivational speaker, mentor, college professor, a mean cornhole player, and an ice-cold brother of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Omicron Road Chapter, and my brother in this struggle and best friend. In a footprints in the sand kind of a way, I know that he was granted hard times as his travel companion because he turned a kick into a crutch, took a slap to the face, and embraced the pain for what it could teach. He was shoved in the back and used it as motivation to continue forward. He loosed the chains of bondage and survived a rock fight with doubters and naysayers. He strategized to build pathways to success, and failure was never final. He eventually outpaced hard time and now looks back at where he left it and uses it to give back what he's been given, a life worth living. And because of that life, he's still standing, he's still serving, he's still studying, and most importantly, he's here with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our 2016 Young Alumni Award winner for community engagement, Rayshawn the Lionheart Wilson.
Wow. To Andre first, it's always hard coming behind him. The young man behind me has been my best friend since '98, and I can't thank you enough for being a part of my life and helping me to grow. It's also been a humbling experience to being able to stand here tonight to be able to receive this award. Otterbein has been home to me since 1998. I'm so thankful for the life lessons that Otterbein has taught me from the moment I stepped foot on this campus. As a scared young man at the age of 20, I had no idea what I was heading into when I stepped foot on Otterbein. But what I do know is that it provided, for the first time in my life, Otterbein provided an opportunity for stability. For the first time, I didn't have to worry about how I was going to pay bills. I didn't have to worry about how I was going to eat. That in itself was a blessing. Otterbein taught me many life lessons while I was here on all 4 years, living on campus all year round. So many memories from the classroom to the football field for 4 years. Even to this day, being able to come back to Otterbein and teach classes and encourage and motivate students. It reminds me of just how faithful God has been. And let me tell you, I would not be standing here today had it not been for God's grace and mercy. For all intents and purposes, based on statistics, I should not be standing here giving this speech today. When you look at the astronomical numbers of African American men who go through incarceration and what the recidivism rate is, the statistics will show and say that I should still be incarcerated, or to some, I should be dead. I'm reminded about just how fragile the heart is. The heart has 4 chambers, and I'm reminded of what those 4 chambers mean. The first chamber of that heart is dealing with faith, which again has guided me, has protected me in some of the most darkest nights. The second chamber is dealing with forgiveness. First, being able to forgive myself, but also being in a position to forgive others, which is the greatest gift of all. That third chamber is dealing with love. Being in a position to first understand the importance of loving myself and being in a position to be able to love others. And lastly, that fourth chamber of the heart is dealing with purpose. Otterbein prepared me to be in a position to not only understand, but walk in God's purpose. Being able to give back, but also finding purpose and making sure that my children are better off now while I'm here, putting them in a position to succeed. Purpose. I'm reminded of all the individuals that are in this audience and that are not here that have helped me along the way. I'm reminded of those individuals that wrote recommendations, that believed in me, that have trusted me. And to each and every one of you, I say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping me to continue to grow, challenging me, but always be in debt to Otterbein College. This award really means a lot in so many ways, to be able to come back and stand before here, and I will continue to give back to Otterbein in so many ways. And again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I can't say it enough just how good God has been over the past years. Thank you.
Can't see a thing. I'm Alan Prindle. I'm on the faculty. I teach economics classes, and it's my honor to introduce Jay Shoemaker, class of 2005, recipient of the 2016 Professional Achievement Young Alumni Award. This award recognizes excellence, professional achievement, impact by the individual in his or her endeavor, and it's Otterbeин's opportunity to honor Jay for his commitment and his accomplishments. I was his academic advisor. I hope I made a difference. That's why we're here. Jay excelled in many different ways. As a student in my introductory class, it was very clear he was outstanding. He could do the work. He could understand it. He could help others. He could just make it look easy. Wow. Double major, part-time job, always prepared. Wow. Wish everybody was like that. Wish I was like that, right? He's continued to be an excellent mentor, student, teacher, role model since he graduated. After he finished at Otterbein, he started working at Cardinal Health and then did an MBA at Cardinal at the Wharton School, one of the best MBA programs in the world. He's one of the best young professionals in the world. One of the things he did at Cardinal Health was to participate in a leadership development program. And I know that that matters because I've sent a number of students and alumni to him to talk about what is it like to work in finance in a large corporation? What's it like to go to graduate school? What's it like to be doing what you're doing here? And I hear back from those students, and I hear that their conversation with Jay was very meaningful and very useful in their own career preparation and the path that they're following today. Cardinal Health is a big company. He's risen from analyst to manager to director to vice president. 11 years after graduation, he's supervising, I think, between 50 and 60 financial analysts at Cardinal Health. I contacted one of Jay's supervisors at Cardinal Health. Actually, Jay knew that I was going to do this, but he doesn't know what the supervisor said. So what he said was, Jay's one of the youngest VPs in finance at Cardinal Health. He said Jay's accomplishments include a good perspective related to customers and shareholders, that he thinks strategically, how good is this, you know? That we want our students to do this, both while they're students, as well as when they graduate and go on from there. He indicated that Jay maintains a good sense of optimism, enthusiasm, competitive spirit. He's positive, he encourages others, and he gets the right things done. Wow, how about that? I mentioned Jay's career to many students as a role model for sort of roadmap for a professional career. And I only wonder what new challenges will present themselves to Jay in the future. I indicated that Jay was in a leadership program at Cardinal Health, and he was selected for that, if I understand, from his peers at Cardinal Health. This program is there's a rotation program, and it's called the Emerge program at Cardinal. And I learned a couple of weeks ago that a current senior who will graduate next May has been selected to work with Cardinal Health. She was planning to be here. I was hoping to be able to introduce her, but she wrote to me earlier in the day and said that she was feeling ill, and so she wasn't here. So this is how it works. We select a student to go on in their career, and we find a senior to find new opportunities when they graduate as well. Jay, would you come forward for this award? It's my honor to recognize his accomplishments, and they're really well deserved. It's an honor to be a part of the Otterbein community.
Really can't see from here. So good evening. First of all, I want to thank Dr. Crandall and the entire Otterbein community for an incredible honor. I think this is probably the first award I've ever been nominated for, let alone won. So this whole acceptance speech thing is a bit new. I want to thank Dr. Crandall for nominating me when he reached out. It was really a surprise and obviously an honor. And more important than sort of nominating me, the support he provided kind of throughout my time here at Otterbein, and really has continued to provide sort of in the years since graduation. I came to Otterbein via a little bit of a non-traditional path. I went to the University of Dayton as a fine art major for about a year. Came back to Columbus State for 3 or 4 quarters trying to figure out sort of what I wanted to do with my life. And then thankfully the third time, or in this case the third school, is the charm, and ended up here at Otterbein as a transfer student and in Dr. Crandall's Intro to Microeconomics class. I saw he gave me personal attention, effort, willingness to meet after class, all those things that really gave me the confidence to be successful here at Otterbein, and then also sort of in the years past. So, I also want to thank some important people outside of the Otterbein community. My parents are here, always behind me, made a bunch of sacrifices, as I tried to find my way through life, some failures, some things that didn't go so well. And then also my wife, Carly, who continues to put up with what can be a pretty hectic work schedule and is always supportive. She's also one of the few people who didn't tell me I was crazy to quit a great job at Cardinal and go back to business school. She actually moved to Philadelphia with me. Lastly, the many people who aren't here tonight but have really played a critical role. Other professors here at Otterbein, bosses, mentors, advocates, throughout the years have really provided valuable guidance along the way, helped shape me as a business person and just as a person in general. When I look back, my time here at Otterbein really taught me a lot of things, but I think first and foremost it was around finding your passion and then following it. And that's really the key to success, no matter how you define success. And when I look back, I think of the Otterbein professors and faculty and people that work here, and it's clear that developing students and preparing students for long-term success is really the passion of everyone here. And as someone who clearly benefited from that passion, I'm grateful to call myself an Otterbein graduate. So thanks again for incredible honor. It's very humbling, and I really appreciate it.
Hello, I'm Christina Kirk. I'm very happy to be here. It's my pleasure to announce Jeremy Bobb, alumnus from the class of 2003, as a recipient of a 2016 Young Alumni Award for Creative Achievement. This award recognizes excellence, high professional achievement, and impact by an individual in his or her field of endeavor, and honor Jeremy for his commitment and accomplishments. As a graduate of the Department of Theater and Dance at Otterbein, Jeremy has a very high level of achievement. He's received national and international recognition for his acting work in television, film, and on and off Broadway. Perhaps best known as a series regular on the HBO Cinemax series, The Knick, Jeremy received a Peabody Award for his contributions to this groundbreaking work directed by Steven Soderbergh and starring Clive Owen. At the international level, Jeremy was involved in the Bridge Project production of Richard III, a transatlantic endeavor with director Sam Mendes and actor Kevin Spacey, big names here. And that extended the boundaries of how we even conceive of theater. Jeremy has also performed on Broadway in productions of Is He Dead and translations, as well as garnering numerous off-Broadway credits. And in addition, Jeremy has had recurring roles on House of Cards, Netflix, and Hostages on CBS, as well as guest star appearances on Showtime, HBO, Comedy Central, CBS, and Fox. And he has been in numerous films, including projects with directors Zach Braff and Barry Levinson. So clearly this guy has achieved some things. Jeremy has been very generous in returning to Otterbein to speak to our theater students. And he's been uncompromisingly honest about what it's like to really be an artist. You know, you hear this long list of achievements and think, oh gosh, he's just this great film television star who works with all the stars. But in fact, what Jeremy told our students was a much harder story about what it really means to be an artist. He made it clear that choosing the actor's life requires patience, the capacity to make tough choices, and a great deal of determination and hard work. Rather than seeking to entertain our students with stories about working with Clive Owen and Kevin Spacey, Jeremy chose instead to focus on the times in his life when he was not getting work, or getting work but not making enough money to survive. He spoke about hard decisions, the decision to accept the role of Hamlet in fellow alum Tavy McGar's production, not because there was money or a boost to his resume, but because he needed the creative engagement. He attributes his experience with Shakespeare as the vehicle that got him ready to compete for the role in King Lear at the Public Delacour and the Bridge Project. He also told the students about his conscious decision at a key moment in his career to turn down theater roles and focus on television and film work. He knew at the time that this choice was a calculated risk. The roles were there for him in theater, but he was not yet landing the kinds of roles he was seeking in film and television. He chose to risk letting go of what was comfortable and familiar to create space for something still out of reach. As a student, Jeremy was always the guy asking the challenging question and testing the limits and boundaries. That is why I loved working with him in class and in productions. Jeremy is fiercely intelligent, dangerously bold, and uncompromisingly steadfast in his pursuit of artistic excellence. His performance always brings forth a distinctive contribution. He finds what's true, but never obvious or cliche. And that's much harder than you might think. He's also an engaged citizen of the world. Jeremy speaks out against gun violence, intolerance, prejudice. Jeremy speaks with loving affection about his parents, whom he sees as his most important role models. He also speaks with pride about his Dublin, Ohio roots and his high school and Otterbein education. One of my fondest memories of Jeremy was having him serve as babysitter for us. Always funny, always creative. A night with Jeremy was filled with laughter, adventure, and a healthy dose of the unexpected. Embodying Otterbein's core values, Jeremy has never waited for his destiny to find him. He creates it. He is a role model for sustained achievement, born out of courage and vision. Although Jeremy can't be with us tonight to receive this honor in person due to a project he's working on, he has sent a special video message to share with us, and that's going to be on our big screen.
Hey guys, I'm Jeremy Bob. I'm sorry I'm not able to be in attendance tonight. Dana asked me to make this video instead. I'm currently working on a project for Netflix that is a Western. That's why I have this beard and look like a Civil War reenactor or maybe a shipwrecked Viking. But I'm back and forth right now between New York City and New Mexico, so the schedule just didn't permit me being in attendance tonight, so my apologies. Most of what I want to say in the video here is thank you to a number of people. First to Otterbein University and to the committee that decides on the recipients of this award. It's a great honor to get an education as good as the one you get at Otterbein, let alone to be recognized this way afterwards. So it means a lot to me. Thank you very much. More specifically, I'd like to thank Chris Kirk, who is the current chair of the Department of Theater and Dance at Otterbein and a former professor of mine. She is the one that nominated me for this, and she wrote a letter, and she assembled a pair of fellow alums and colleagues of mine also to write letters. I didn't know that they were doing this, but when Dana emailed me and said that I would be receiving this award, she also included these letters that they had written so that I could read them, and what an awesome opportunity that was. It's not often you get to read things like that, and it really was so moving. These people have meant a lot to me in my path, and just to know that they thought that much of me and that they'd noticed the things they noticed about me in my life, I really was moved, so thank you. To Chris Kirk, and also to dear friends and fellow alums, Michael Casera, who's now a casting director in New York City, and to Taby McGarr, who is now a stage director out of New York City. I'd also like to say congratulations to my fellow nominees. I hope you're having a great night. Congratulations. It was really cool to know I would be getting this award, and then once I received the list of your names and your accomplishments, I was even more honored because I get to be in such distinguished company, so congratulations, guys. And last but not least, I have to thank my mom and dad, Ed and Sally Bob, who are in attendance tonight on my behalf. A guy could not ask for better parents. Together, the three of us put me through college, more them than me, certainly, and it's my education that I received in high school was very good, and then to get to have a liberal arts degree from Otterbein College with a specific focus on the thing that I really wanted to do, and to have the support that I had from them and the support that I continue to get from them, it really, I can't say enough about it, and everyone should be so lucky as to have two people in their life the way I have them. So, thank you again. I really do appreciate it. It means a great deal to me to be honored this way. Enjoy your evening, everyone. Bye.
There's something else I'm sorry. So, a big congratulations to Jeremy. I'm sure we'll be watching more of him on the big screen, the small screen, every screen. Look for the next Western coming out soon. And we really are very honored that Jeremy Bob's parents are here with us tonight. So thank you both for coming. Obviously, Jeremy thinks so highly of you. And now I'm supposed to stand here and be pictured.
Once again, good evening. It's great to have everybody here this evening. From the beginning with the Opus One song, with a little help from our friends, I've just felt that this is a very, very special evening. My name is Bill Harper. I'm here to announce the award for Carrie Kopaz Adams, alumni from the class of 1998. She'll be receiving the Young Alumni Award for Professional Excellence. This award recognizes excellence, high professional achievement, and impact by an individual in his or her field of endeavor. I entered academia kind of late in life at the age of 47 after working out in industry, and I was very fortunate in my very first year at Otterbein to have such a wonderful student as Carrie. She was spunky, she was unafraid to ask questions, even though she was perhaps, as she might tell you, a little bit of a math introvert. She still cared. And she's what I've grown to call a happiness machine. She exudes happiness. She exudes the, was it mega lumens, I think, that Kathy was talking about a little while ago. She just does a wonderful job of pulling in others, making others succeed along with herself. And everybody she touches wants her to succeed as well. She's the Director of Enterprise Analytics, which is a tremendous job at Lowe's. Data analytics is a relatively new field. It's a blending of many different disciplines. And being on the edge of many disciplines creates new opportunities for learning, new opportunities for helping others. It's a blending of statistics, computer science, and many other things. In addition to all the work that she's done and many achievements that she's had, she has taken on additional duties, such as mentoring others, teaching college statistics on the weekends. She's been a dedicated person that's provided more than a little help from various friends. She's helped many complete the O in Otterbein, or whatever letter is appropriate for their particular, college and so on. I just can't say enough about her, and I'd like to welcome Carrie to the stage.
Thank you to the Otterbein faculty and staff for this amazing honor. I am truly humbled. Reflecting back to almost 20 years ago, so I'm on the upper edge of young, at what was then Otterbein College, I would have never imagined when I was that introverted math nerd in a liberal arts college who was uncertain what I was going to do with a math degree, that my educational background would take me to where it has taken me. I had so much support from the entire math faculty, but in particular, two of my math professors, Dr. Harper and Dr. Hinton. Dr. Harper has been pivotal along my career journey, from graduate school decisions to general career advice whenever asked, all the way to inviting me to be a speaker at the graduation ceremony for the class of 2016. What an honor that was. Dr. Hinton, he was responsible for lining me up with my first internship, a critical point in launching my career that became my first full-time job for over 5 years. I have so many fond memories of Otterbein and how it felt so at home to me. One great memory that I have that shows just how great the faculty at Otterbein was a trip that Dr. Hinton and I took to Miami University for a math summit. It was a really long car ride for an introverted student who did not know how I was going to carry on a conversation for that long with my professor. But I remember how honored I felt for him to invite me along for the learning. Funny thing is, it was a math summit, but the thing I remember most about that trip is butterflies. Dr. Hinton loved butterflies, and I remember him pointing to each and every butterfly along the way. Even now today, when I see butterflies, it makes me think of Otterbein and Dr. Hinton and his son that he spoke so highly about. Also want to mention that a couple years in my career, Dr. Hinton wanted to experience life outside the academic world and actually interned for me during one of his sabbaticals. How cool is it that your professor is willing to come intern for you and actually learn from you? I also want to thank my family, especially for my parents, for being so caring and so loving, and who have supported me for any decision I've made. My dad is going to kill me for this, but I want to say thank you for being here. It's his 75th birthday today. So Dad, happy 75th birthday. And thank you for spending your special day here with me. Also, thank you for giving me my math degree. Thank you for giving me my math brain, even though you said all of your kids out-math you by the time we were in high school, which I still highly disagree with. Mom, thank you for teaching me passion, a never-ending spirit, and compassion that has helped me to be a stronger leader for my teams. I want to thank my twin for being that big sis, not based on time born, but in mere height. She helped me find my voice to get me out of my shell. Thanks to my little sisters for following down the same math and stats path that I did and for looking up to me. You will never know how much of a confidence builder that is and a driver to do better when you know people are looking up to you and how you want to do better so you do not let them down. Thanks to my brothers. There's a lot of us in our family. Thanks to my brothers for making sure the girls in the family had that tomboy side to them, so we knew how to handle the tough boys in the corporate world. Thank you to my friends, especially my Otterbein friends, for their love and support. To my roomies, who I met my freshman year in the dorm and who I am still close with over 20 years later. And most of all, a huge amount of love and appreciation to my husband and my kids for all their love and support. My husband, Dave, who also went to Otterbein back in the day, has been my backbone for the past 14 years and has helped me navigate various career decisions. He has always had an unwavering belief in me, always pushing me to believe in myself and to be better. My kids, Des and Brooklyn, who are the best and cutest kids around, and no, I am not biased about how great and cute they are. They make me want to be more successful for them and are already showing signs of following my math footsteps. So once again, thank you, Otterbein, for this wonderful, wonderful honor. Thank you, Dr. Harper and Dr. Hinton, for believing in me and seeing the potential. And thank you to my family, my darling 2 kids, Des and Brooklyn, and my amazing husband, Dave. Thank you all.
Well, good evening. This is my pleasure to announce Scott Arthur. He's an alumnus of the class of 1999, and he's a recipient of the 2016 Young Alumni Leadership and Citizenship Award. This award recognizes rising and future leaders who demonstrate outstanding leadership capacities and have orchestrated meaningful changes as leaders in their profession, in their communities, at local, regional, national, or global level. They're committed, industrious, and caring individuals to whom the Otterbein community views personifies the university's mission. That's my Scott. Quote, think big, start small, and move fast. This statement is from John Zettner, who's a president and founder of the Breakthrough Schools in Cleveland, Ohio. And he shared this with Scott upon meeting him in a graduate study course in a nonprofit management in 2001. After 2 hours of conversation, Together, they wrote out on a napkin their vision and their goals to start a nonprofit partnership called eCity. It's targeted towards entrepreneurship, connecting, inspiring, and teaching youth. Scott helped raise the startup money of $400,000 to teach inner city kids in Cleveland as a way to break the cycle of poverty and advance their community. Today, this organization is one of the highest performing charter school networks in Ohio with 11 schools, nearly serving 3,500 students from kindergarten to 8th grade. Scott completed his graduate work in nonprofit management and philanthropic giving from Case Western University. He found his next challenge as the Capital Campaign Director at the Wellington Schools in Upper Arlington. Managing a staff of 3, Scott developed and led the campaign of investment and possibilities that generated $12.5 million. Transformed by a personal tragedy of losing his 5-month-old son, Duncan, to a heart defect in 2007, Scott transferred his fundraising skills to healthcare. He served at the Mayo Clinic Major Gift Officer, raising $11.2 million, followed by a vice president role of constituent giving at Nationwide Children's Hospital, raising $52 million. Now Scott's the vice chancellor at the University of Colorado Amstutz Medical Campus, supervising 50 team members. 50. During his past 2 years, which is really his first 2 years at the hospital, the team has recorded fundraising levels for a total of $370 million in philanthropic and private support. Yet Scott is the first to say to his team, quote, from an email that I got my hands on, he said, we should not get caught up in these numbers. We spend our energy focusing on why people support this great campus. His nominator, former Otterbein professor and Scott's mentor, Carol Sabbath, claims, quote, Scott serves as a testament for how one young man with joy in his heart, a hunger for challenge, and an intellect that ignites passion for improving the human condition enables Otterbein's mission and core values to be a living reality. He has always made me laugh through his extraordinary talent as a storyteller and inspires me to be more and to do more for human condition. So here's a snippet of Scott's empowering leadership to his team. Benefactors want to be inspired. They want to be part of a compelling vision. Continue to focus on your vision, your impact, and your joy. We are not here to raise money. We are here to transform medicine. Be excellent. Do not compromise your values. Work hard. Good things are ahead for this team. I am convinced. Onward. Might these statements move us onward in our life's passion? It's my pleasure to introduce you to my dear friend from both my alma maters of Logan High School and Otterbein College, and who is the husband of my dear adopted daughter, Tricia Johnson Arthur. This is Scott Arthur, the recipient of the 2016 Otterbein University Young Alumni Award for Leadership and Citizenship.
Wow, thank you. And they're right, you can't see anybody. I am Tricia Arthur's husband. I've been that, for the past 12 years, and I'm saying that I would not be here without her. She is with our 4 children in Denver, Colorado right now, but if she's listening, and I hope she is, Tricia, I love you. Thank you for all the support that you've given me and our family. And you, not me, has the toughest job in the world, managing me and our kids. I want to thank Dr. Carol Sabbath for her nomination, and I think it's really telling that she She was my mentor, and I think you heard that a lot tonight. And the secret to success is to surround yourself with people that believe in you. And that give you confidence and courage. Getting this award in leadership, the thing that I've learned the most in my career is if you can create an environment, a healthy and a joyful and an energetic environment for your team, they'll be successful. And how I learned that was my first job, we wanted to start a charter school, and Becky referenced that a little bit. And it was one story and one experience that really changed my life. I had never been a part of an urban community, and I went into one of the best performing schools in Philadelphia. And this was 20 years ago, before the charter school movement is as big as it is now. And it was the best performing charter school in the city. And it was sharing the same building as the worst performing school. Same student population, same neighborhood. And there was literally a blue line in between the schools during the lunch hour. And in the poor performing school, it was absolute chaos. It was chaos. And with the high performing school, the amount of discipline and behavior change was incredible. And for the first time, I learned about the power of culture. If you get the culture right, the rest is easy. And creating a value-based culture and being a leader is, I think, is the number one part of being a leader, is creating that culture. And so at CU, I took what I learned at Mayo and at Otterbein and said, you know, what are those values? And a lot of people tonight talked about those values. And if I could take anything from Otterbein and really in my career, is the type of leadership that I hope to embody is that one of servant leadership, where we give people the tools to be successful. So what our leadership team and what I really learned from Otterbein was, I'm in fundraising, but what I really am doing is investing in people. It just so happens the platform and the construct in doing that is fundraising. And if we invest in them and we invest in their ideas and their energy, the money that we have raised, that will come naturally. Because in fundraising, just like we're going through this campaign at Otterbein, it's not about the money, it's about the meaning. And if we get the money and if we get the meaning and the joy and the vision right, good things will happen, I know it. So thank you so much for this award, I really appreciate it.
Good evening. Last but not least, obviously. It's my pleasure to announce Nate Spicer, alumnus from the class of 2005, as a recipient of the 2016 Young Alumni Award for Professional Achievement. This award recognizes exceptional work and impact in the area and the career of professional development, and we honor Nate for his commitment and accomplishments. I met Nate, me being an Otterbein alumni, I met Nate in 2003 when I came back to Otterbein as an assistant football coach. And you learn very quickly that with us and players, it's a little bit different. I mean, we build bonds because we're with them all the time. So, it's always great to see our alumni come back, win awards, but it's really special to us because we get to spend more time with them, and we're always with them. We probably spend more time with our athletes as a coach relationship than, hours upon hours upon hours, and you really get to know people. In 2004, Nate was voted captain by his peers, and to us in the athletic world, being voted by a captain by your peers is a very big deal. The reason is because your peers are voting for that. So to me, that is always a big award, only because your peers respect you. And Nate was voted as a captain in 2004. The other thing that Nate did, and obviously I'm using athletics because it will lead to what he's doing now, is he won an award that we give out every year called the Harry W. Ewing Award. And that's just not, goes out to a good player. Okay, this can go to anybody. Now don't get me wrong, Nate was a good player. I don't mean to say it like that. He was an all-conference football player. So, but to me, that award is more important than the MVP. It's the highest award you can get here, especially when we do that for Otterbein football. The reason being is because it shows a lot of different characteristics. And the biggest one is character. And we define character as what you do when no one is looking. And Nate is mumbling that as I say that right now. Because that is what character is, what you do when no one is looking. His leadership, obviously he was voted a captain, so he was a natural leader. And he was a yeller and screamer when he had to be, but more or less Nate did it by example. He didn't have to say a lot. And sometimes those are your best leaders. Integrity, accountability, never missing anything. These are all the intangibles that we're looking for, characteristics that embody what an Otterbein football player should be. And Nate won that award. And to me, that is bigger than an MVP or anything else, because it shows a lot about the person. I read the nominations and all, the recommendation forms, and reading them and going through them all. Those words that I just said were used for Nate in every single one. All those words. So the award we gave him, it just echoes to the people he works with and other people around. It's not surprising to me that Nate has worked himself up the ladder so fast to become the head of sales for NetJets. He started as an attorney at NetJets. He moved to a manager. He moved to a director, and now he is the head of sales. All accomplished in 7 short years. From May of 2008 to July of 2015. In 7 years, he moved his way up that quickly. Nate is very driven and is always looking for ways to better himself and everybody around him. That's one of the quotes that was said in one of his recommendation forms. And I can say that as a coach and being very close with Nate, that I totally agree with that. There is one thing when closing about Nate that I have one negative thing. And I want Nate to say it. Nate, where did you go to law school? You don't want to say it right now? Okay. Nate went to Capital. All right? And who do we play tomorrow? But I'm not going to hold that against him. He could have went somewhere else, though. But no, I'm just kidding. He's giving him a hard time. Nate, will you please come forward and accept the 2016 Otterbein University Young Alumni Award for Professional Achievement.
So thank you, Coach. That was great. I promise I won't wear any Capital gear tomorrow. So we're good. I'd like to thank everybody at Otterbein, the staff, Dana for putting this on. This is a great night. And I want to congratulate my parents. I feel like this is as much your award as it is mine. And I think life's a team sport, and I have a great team in front of me, so thanks. So when I came to Otterbein, I learned a lot of lessons that have led to my success. And the first lesson was in the fall of 2001. I reported for football camp, and work ethic was very important in our family, so I needed to have a campus job. And campus jobs are pretty run-of-the-mill. They're pretty benign. You're usually helping Skip wash jerseys, checking people in at the Reich Center. I reported for my campus job, and it was campus mail delivery. So, right? That's not a big deal. Until they roll out the campus mail delivery van. It's probably a 1980s cargo van, a lot of rust on it, loud, missing hubcaps. So here I am as a freshman, trying to be a big man on campus, a lot of confidence, and they are literally going to make me drive around for 2 hours every day in a van that you would never want to be seen in to impress anybody. So my first year, instead of being known as the big man on campus, I was the creepy van guy on campus. So that was my first lesson at Otterbein, but I think the most important lesson I learned at Otterbein was one in leadership. You understand playing a team sport pretty early on that your individual performance is important, but in the case of football, you're really relying on 21 other people to help win the game. And when Coach Dowd came, what would you say we were in some rebuilding years? Is that fair? So it meant we had a bad record. I remember Coach Dowd challenging me, Nate, it's not always about you. You know, I want you to be a great player, but we got to build an organization here that's all about winning. So I remember him making me host recruits, right? He wanted to show the talented players that Otterbein was the place to go. We would get up at 6 a.m. and do film study because that was the only time we wouldn't be interrupted by class. I remember staying up late in the library, tutoring other players to keep them eligible. Tuesdays in the summer, calling your teammates to make sure that they're doing their summer workouts. And I think a lot of what I learned at Otterbein, I carried forward into my professional life. And a lot of times it's not about being the most boisterous, but it's about helping the organization win, whether that's working extra hours to help another department, whether that's recommending a more efficient way to do something. Ultimately, you do enough of those things, and just like a team, your business organization is going to win in the long run. And I think I attribute a lot of that to my success. And thank you again, and go Cardinals.
What an amazing night. Let's have one more round of applause for all of our From incredible accomplishments to moving tributes and heartfelt acceptance speeches, it only reaffirms how lucky we are to be a part of this community. As we started this evening, I mentioned one of the mentors who helped me find my way. After hearing from all the awardees, I would be remiss if I didn't mention a few others. In addition to John Kangla, there was Dr. Aristobulus, who helped open my eyes to the world by showing me the connections of business and economics and the global economy I would have to navigate. Thanks too to Dr. Latrice Washington, who gave me remarkable feedback on my writing so I could better articulate my ideas. She also helped me land my first internship with the Ohio State House. Many thanks to Christina Patel, who previously served Otterbein as the manager of its Phonathon effort. She provided me with my first management position, and this opportunity was key for me to begin to hone my skills as manager and leader. She inspired me to learn from my successes and to grow smarter from my mistakes. But the advice that really made me see things differently came from my supervisor in the Office of Admission when I was a tour guide. I'll never forget how I felt when Ben Shoemaker told me that I could be and do anything I wanted. Those were powerful words, and they meant something coming from someone who saw more in me. Otterbein helped me learn more than my purpose. It helped me learn what it means to be a leader, to understand that a leader empowers others to realize more of their personal best. These Otterbein values and ideas shaped the young woman I was 10 years ago, but they guide the actions of the woman I am today. Last year I was named Miss Virginia by the USA Ambassador Pageant Program. I chose to compete for this service-oriented program because it works to instill leadership, integrity, character, and confidence in today's young woman. These were very much the values that defined my Otterbein experience, so I wanted to be a part of a program who not only recognized but celebrated the commitment to serve and give back. These values, and a night like this, is what Otterbein stands for. It's why I will always stand with Otterbein, because there was never a moment when this university and its people have not stood with me. What we do from this point forward is up to us. But the responsibility we share, regardless of the awards behind our name, is the commitment to stand with Otterbein to make a difference for the next generation. Only you can really know what you are called to do. To mentor, to critique a portfolio, to volunteer, to connect a student or young alumnus with an opportunity, to give or to help in some other way. But the important thing is to do it. You give back because you are an inspiration. I was always taught that to whom much is given, much is required. And I really appreciate the truth in the sentiment when I hear President Crindle remind us that now more than ever, the world needs what Otterbein alumni have to offer. She is right. As President Crindle said earlier, your family, your mentors, and your university are proud of you. Congratulations, and celebrate this moment tonight, and then roll up your sleeves and get ready to tackle more. It's what we do. It's what we stand for. We're Otterbein alumni after all. That means something. It's been a pleasure to share in your special night. Please let me remind you that we would like to ask all the awardees and their introduction speakers to come to the stage with President Crindle for photographs immediately following the singing of the love song. I invite you to join us for desserts out in the lobby to help assure we end this night on a sweet note. At this time, I'm pleased to welcome Opus 1 back to the stage to close our celebration with the singing of the Otterbein love song. Opus 1 is led by Director of Choral Activities and Professor of Music, Dr. Gail Walker. The words to the love song can be found at the back of your program. Congratulations again, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.